I used to believe that if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I just didn't know the desert would prove it to me. It started last summer when my uncle took me to the edge of the Khalistan desert for a weekend trip. Just the two of us. No network, no noise, just sand and silence. On the second night, while the fire was dying and the sky was heavy with stars, my uncle told me about the well, the old wishing well, he said quietly, hidden beyond the third dune. They say it grants anything. I laughed. Like money? Fame? He didn't smile. Yes, he said, but it takes something from you in return. What does it take? He stared into the fire. Time. The next morning, curiosity burned stronger than fear. While my uncle was asleep, I grabbed a flashlight and walked into the dunes. The desert was endless waves of gold, hot wind brushing against my face. After almost an hour, I saw it. A circle of old stones rising from the sand. The well, it looked ancient, cracked, forgotten. But when I stepped closer, the air turned cold. I looked inside. There was no water, just darkness, and faintly, I heard whispering, "Make a wish." The voice didn't echo. It felt close, right under my ear. My heart pounded. "This is stupid," I muttered. But I had problems back home. Big ones. My father's shop was failing. We were drowning in debt. So I leaned over the well. I wish my father's business becomes successful. The whispering stopped instantly. The desert wind froze. Then a low rumble came from inside the well. Sand around my feet vibrated. And from the darkness, something breathed. Hot air rushed into my face. Then silence. Nothing happened. I laughed nervously and walked back to camp. Maybe it was just an old story. But when we returned home 2 days later, everything had changed. My father's shop was packed with customers. Orders lined up outside. A big contract had come from nowhere. Within weeks, we were stable again. Better than stable, thriving. My father called it a miracle, but I knew what it was. Then I noticed something strange. While brushing my teeth one morning, I saw a single white hair near my temple. I was 19. That wasn't normal. A few days later, my joints felt stiff. My reflection looked tired, older somehow. I ignored it. Stress, I told myself. Until my mother asked, "Rahim, are you sleeping properly? You look different." Different, older. I returned to the desert alone a month later. The well was still there, waiting. This time I looked closer. The stones weren't just cracked. They were carved. Names. Hundreds of names scratched into them. Beside each name was a number. +5, +1230. I felt my chest tighten. Those weren't random numbers. They were years. Years taken. The whisper returned. "You have aged well." My blood ran cold. "What did you take from me?" I demanded. A low chuckle echoed from the darkness. "Only what you offered." I never offered anything. Time is always the price. My knees weakened. "How many years?" Silence. Then a soft answer. 10. 10 years. I touched my face. Suddenly, the stiffness made sense. The exhaustion. I wasn't 19 anymore. Not fully. Anger replaced fear. "I want them back." I shouted into the well. The wind rose violently. Sand spiraled around me. "Another wish," it whispered. "And more will be taken." I stepped back. This wasn't charity. It was a trade. And it was always hungry. That night at home, I couldn't sleep. What if I wished for more money? For fame? For power? How many years would it take? 20? 30? How much life was success worth? The temptation crawled under my skin. I went back again. I wish. I hesitated. Then greed won. I wished to become rich. Truly rich. The ground trembled harder than before. The whispering turned into dozens of overlapping voices. The sand beneath my feet felt like it was sinking. Then everything stopped. Within a week, an investor approached my father. A massive deal. Property. Expansion. We became wealthy almost overnight. But this time, the change in me was worse. Deep lines formed around my eyes. My back hurt constantly. I checked my reflection carefully. I didn't look 19 anymore. I looked 35, at least. I rushed back to the well, furious. How many this time? The whisper was louder now. Closer. 20. My stomach dropped. 30 years gone. Gone. I'll destroy you, I screamed. I picked up a rock and threw it into the well. It never hit the bottom. Instead, something moved in the darkness. A shape slowly rose from inside. Tall, thin, made of shifting sand and shadow. Its face wasn't human. It was hollow. And inside the hollow, stars burned. You cannot destroy time, it said calmly. You only borrow against it. I stumbled back. You trick people. We offer. You choose. It wasn't wrong. No one forced me. Greed did. The creature leaned closer. You have little left. My heart nearly stopped. How much? Enough for one final wish. My mind raced. I could wish for eternal life, for power, for anything. But what would it take? Everything? The desert was silent, waiting. Then I thought of my father, my mother. They were happy, safe, because of me. Even if it cost me years. I took a deep breath. My final wish? The creature's hollow face tilted. Is that the well never grants another wish again. Silence. The air grew impossibly heavy. The stars above flickered. You choose sacrifice, it whispered. Yes. The desert shook violently. The stones around the well cracked apart. The creature let out a long, echoing scream as the darkness inside the well collapsed inward. Sand rushed in, burying it. The whispering stopped. Forever. I fell to my knees. My body felt ancient, heavy. When I looked at my hands, they were wrinkled, thin, old. I don't know how many years it took for that last wish, but I know this. The well is gone, buried beneath the desert forever. My family still thinks I'm 35. They don't question it. Time is strange like that. But sometimes, late at night, when the wind blows through the city, I hear whispering, soft, hungry. Make a wish. Subscribe for more.